Hello.
Hey, Gavin, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Woody, from Minneapolis, from 93X here in Minneapolis. Thanks for joining me this
How
morning.
are you? Wow, look how beautiful Minneapolis looks. What's
Yeah, right.
happening?
Yeah, it's the
Rolling.
burbs. We got our first nice weather. Believe it or not, it snowed like less than a week ago.
Oh, I can believe it. I'm trying to get a positioning for you so I don't have to hold it.
Yeah, no problem.
There we are. It's
I don't
both.
have a kickstand yet. I need to get one of those. I'm gonna lean you up against some books.
Yeah, you got to do that. I like being nestled. How's it going out there?
It's going pretty well. How you been?
Ah, I've been all right. Just like everyone else, just kind of dealing under the circumstances and trying to make the best of it. Um, it's
You're in LA,
just so
right?
horrific out in the. What's that?
You're in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm in LA. It's just like crazy
So
out
you guys
there,
must
right?
have pretty good money. Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's crazy on the front line, and then we're just trying to do the best. We do what we're told, really. Drink
Yeah.
beer
You guys
midday.
got yeah, yeah. That's right. No, it's still morning time. It's still
Yeah, yeah,
morning time.
yeah, yeah.
Are you at the point where you're drinking beer every day yet, or are you still pretty disciplined and keeping it to like the weekends?
I'm English. I drink beer every day anyway. I mean, it's not. I don't know. I mean,
But
I'm
do
not
you
even
drink it
in
in the
England. I'm
morning?
not even a drinker. In England, I'm not even a drinker at all. I just drink with. I'm a light drinker. In America, I'm a chronic alcoholic that really should be going to a rehab in this time. But no, I drink. No, I don't drink that much. But plus when you're on your own, I mean, what you can do? I'm like a bottle of wine. It's like, well, great. Now it's 7 o'clock. Now what? What's being wasted on your own? This is great. I have a real laugh. So just a few drinks, it's fine.
What have you been up to? Just every day to day.
Well,
Like
I've been doing
what's
quite a
the
bit of.
regular stuff? What's the regular, the normal stuff? Like what are you binge watching?
I just binge watched Hollywood, the Ryan Murphy thing on. I think it's on Netflix. Anyhow, it's really good. I haven't done enough of the binging. I've been watching movies, but
Oh, okay.
I watched a bit of Ozark. But this one I did the traditional real binge. Like I really like I discovered it. I was like, I'd been working and I was stressed and I was like, stop, I'm always doing stuff and I was like, relax, do the visual thing. And I started watching that show Hollywood, and it just hooked me in. It's only 7 episodes. It like took 3 days. I did like an episode, then did the whole lot. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch that. It's so fun. And you get the point, where you binge watch, everyone so much, you can be doing other stuff and it's just playing. You can be making a coffee. You can know the characters, you know what's happening, and so you don't have to quite check it out every frame. But that, I had a chance to practice a lot of guitar and read some stuff and think, actually just decompress. Mainly I've been thinking, which is a really lovely way of spending your time because most of the time we're like slow versions of Usain Bolt.
So, what have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking about everything to do with whether it's. I've been thinking a lot about how everything is about chapters. Our lives are just these series of chapters, and I think that the thing that leads to dis-ease and unhappiness is when you try and accommodate different chapters in the wrong chapter, in the wrong location. That means if you carry people through, so you think wistfully about someone, a lover or a relationship that went wrong, or someone that you've lost, friendships that you lose, And I'm always like thinking, I got to make that up. I've got to find that person, find out what was this, just a couple of key people that I've lost contact with. And then I realized, stop it, let go. It's, life just, you go forward, and you go through experiences and people and situations. It's not a callous observation. It's an observation of self-preservation so that you don't sort of get cluttered up with baggage. It's just sort of how to deal with your baggage. And Do we resolve baggage? Do we drop it off? I say drop it off. I say leave it, drop it off. It was never mine. Or maybe own up to it, be responsible for it. That was mine, but it's not mine anymore. So I'm going to leave it there by the trash. And so that's been my thought process, the chapters of life. Because, you kind of, your mind drifts to someone you lost contact with, I had a couple of
Sure.
people I lost in the divorce fire. And so you think about reaching out to them. And then after a while you go, actually, no, I'm not reaching out to them. I'm not reaching out to
Sure.
them. So that stuff. Also thinking about how to, interesting things to do. I've been trying to think about, we have a record coming out. Was it the right thing to bring the record out in July when you can't support it traditionally? So therefore you got to think about non-traditional ways to support it. With social distancing, under the knowledge that you're not going to tour again. I don't think I'm going to tour for, a long time, maybe a year.
A couple years at least, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, a year.
I don't know. A year's
Who
probably,
knows?
yeah, yeah.
Who
It could
knows?
be 2 years,
Yeah.
absolutely. So therefore, what do we do? How do we adapt? How do we change? Where do we, and so it resolved setting a studio up in my house. So all these situations, they make us adapt, rethink, adapt, and move on, create something and move on. You have to, it's like Darwinism.
Do you find that you are, because I would imagine the result of that is just becoming a little bit more at peace with your past or with things that have.
I suppose so, yeah. And I think that in a way that when you don't think about those things, that it's just sort of matted uh, packaging around you. Like, it's not as healthy as you could be. It's not as streamlined. So yeah, I suppose in a way it's to do with unburdening yourself, with things you carry forward, because you have to have a conscience about life, and you have to sort of be aware, and but I think that I generally have learned that the less you care, the more I see people going through life untouched. So I don't want to be that. I don't want to be cold, and and sort of like nothing's touched me, no loss has touched me. I mean, if you lose someone or a friendship, and that matter to you, that should resonate for you, and so I try and resolve it. And then I just think, wow, they are not having the same thought process right now.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
also in itself is freeing, frees you up. Just get on with your own life. It's cool.
It's interesting thinking about you thinking about these things, given that you are at the center of so many people's memories. In
Right.
in a lot of ways, you have been the catalyst or the unifying.
Soundtrack.
Um, you know, right. For me to go back in time and think about people or things that those chapters that maybe were a little mismatched. Um, I was never necessarily at the center of a large collection of memories or of experiences.
Right.
You know, and that leads me really to something that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about while you're going forward. I wanted to go back a little bit and reminisce, if you don't mind. Um, I was thinking about in preparing to have this conversation with you, some of my first experiences with Bush, and I think about 1996, and there were two performances on MTV that year that were so iconic, and I was hoping that maybe you could address first I think it was a spring break. You played Glycerine in the Rain,
Mm.
and then at the VMAs that year, right before Razor Blade Suitcase dropped. Um, do you know when you're in the middle of an iconic moment like that, when you're in the middle of an experience that is going to be a part of mass memory? Do you know what's going on, or are you just in the moment?
Just in the moment. I mean, that situation in Panama City, we were playing, and that was right at the beginning of this whole journey. And I remember the rain, and just thinking, well, I'd taken so long to, fighting and struggling to get the deal and to make a record and all that stuff. I'd given my entire life up to that point, sort of since I was a kid, trying to be a musician. So I was in the beginning stages of it, and it was moving faster and more rocket ship-like than I ever could imagine. And it really started to pour, and it never occurred to me to not play. What occurred to me was, well, if you die now, what an amazing way to go.
No shit.
Yeah, I was
That's
like
what went through your
thinking,
mind.
yeah, I was like, well, I wondered, am I going to die doing this? And when I was playing the guitar, it was so wet that I couldn't, I'm shocked that it even sounded like a guitar, because it was just like, if you imagine taking a guitar and put it in a bath and then you strum a chord, that's what it felt like. So I just remember being there thinking, first off, am I going to die now? Wow, what a way to die. And then I was like, this piece of wood with metal strings, steel strings on it, sure feels like it's underwater. And then like that was it. That's all I thought about. And somehow I didn't die. It's really dangerous because I'm holding electricity. I've got
Yeah.
water and rain.
Yeah.
So
I've been to plenty of shows postponed in the rain. Yeah, I
they're
get it.
not.
That's
They're not
really
meant to
dangerous.
be. You're not really meant to do it. I think they probably. I don't know. They're just. Everyone was looking for that moment. MTV was like, "What the hell? This could be a great moment. Tricky for him and his family, but great for the network."
So they anticipated you were going to go on and it was going to, because it wasn't
No, no. I just
raining
wondered
that
who was
hard
there.
in
Nobody
February.
was there and saying, "Oh my God, don't do it. You might die." They're probably going, "Oh my God, have you seen the shot of this? It looks amazing.
Sure.
Pan to camera too. This is really." I don't know,
I
but
mean, you were
so, and
soaking wet
what
when you
was the
walked on,
MTV
right?
moment?
At the awards when you guys played Machine Head and you
Right.
wore that shirt that said like "fuck you" right across the screen. And I remember going, "This is the baddest ass dude I've ever seen on the planet." Like at that moment in time, you were the baddest dude on the planet. Had a shirt that said
Right.
all sorts of stuff. And they had to
Yeah.
blur it out because you know MTV airs something
Mm.
a bajillion times after the first time.
Right.
And only that first one I recall was where you could see
Right.
it said like "fuck you" on either side of your button.
Oh, that's a
But
hysteric
that was,
glamour shirt. I remember that
and
shirt.
I'm pretty sure you said "fuck you" at the end of that performance as
Oh
well.
boy, potty mouth. What happened? Potty mouth.
I thought that was a really pivotal VMAs that year. First of all, everybody was there. Rock was represented to the nth.
Yeah.
Metallica performed.
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins won a ton of awards. Foo
Tupac and
Fighters.
Biggie there. Tupac and I
That's
saw
right. And Snoop.
Snoop and
That was
Tupac
like
were hanging out.
3 days before Tupac died. Wait, you
Mm.
were hanging out with Tupac that night?
No, I mean we said hello backstage. You know what I mean? You're passing everyone who's saying hello, being respectful, but not really. Yeah,
So
I remember Snoop's outfit. He looked so good. I just seen them together, and they were like, they had a good energy together. It was fun. I was like, whoa, because Snoop, I think, had that crazy suit on, and I think his hair was braided. I think it was braided. Anyway, he looked amazing. He's got so many looks, but he looked really cool. So I was like, that guy is a fly dude.
that's amazing that that's your first recollection of
Mm,
the VMAs is of Tupac and Snoop. So because that was at like the height of the, well, like I said, Tupac was shot like 3 days later in Vegas, and then like a week later he died.
right.
So that was really the height of the whole East Coast West thing. And yet you guys were on the ascension preparing to be like the biggest rock band in the world. I mean, what was that scene like at the VMAs? Can you sort of take me through your experience of that
Well,
time?
I mean, those days I'm so wistful for them because MTV. I was thinking when you said MTV, I was just lamenting in my brain like it really did used to be music television, and it was the most genius thing ever. Because check this out, what a network! They got all of us to pay for the programming by making videos, and you could spend insane amounts of money, you know, then on videos, and you make the videos for like if it's 300 grand 400 grand 500, it's like madness, right? We get like about $30 now to make videos. So you make that, you spend all that money, and then you go, here Mr. MTV, please can we go on Total Request Live? And that really, and then when you video connected and you get the support of radio, that's how you get the juggernaut bands. And what happened was that because of MTV and because of the radio, um, every band, you'd hear of every song, you'd hear every hit, even if you didn't like a band, you'd get to know. Now someone's number one, or, I don't know, it doesn't really connect in the same way it used to. And I'm so grateful for that time. I feel bad for certain bands they don't have that, because you could dominate culture. I guess now you sort of have Instagram and pop radio that makes sort of a Drake have a billion views. That's where it's at now. And it's a shame. That scene at the time was that everyone that you'd see was really happening because you knew what they were doing. And now it's so fragmented. You could play 4 nights at the Staples Center and then see someone the next day and say, "Hey man, what have you been up to?" And you go, "Oh my God, I just had an amazing run." So those days of mass culture, I miss those. And so everyone you'd see backstage, you'd know their 3 records they had out, their videos. You'd been seeing them interviewed. Rolling Stone and Spin, and people bought magazines, and people actually read them and looked at them. And so that's what, when I think, I don't lament those days, because I think there's beautiful things nowadays that's different, different things. Like now, this communication is an incredible thing, right? We didn't have that. We barely had phones. I used to borrow my tour manager's cell phone to call, my girlfriend at the time, And then I couldn't believe I could be talking to someone. Oh my God, I'm on the bus. I'm just, this is incredible. Which sounds really ridiculous to anyone who's a kid now. But there was a time when we didn't have that much access. So yeah, I think that's what I mean, is that when I think of it backstage, it just felt so happening, it felt right. You're in the right place at the right time, and now I hope to be in the right place at the right time, but basically the right place, right time is being home now. So.
Yeah, truly, no doubt. Yeah, I would imagine that we are a long ways away from the next award show,
Mm-hmm.
uh, whatever, or
But not from the records that are going to get awards. Yes, the
and
kingdom.
I got to applaud you, because it is, I think, pretty brave. There aren't a lot of artists who are saying yeah, let's put out some music. Let's give
Yeah,
the people something new, something
exactly. I
different.
mean, I think that we're either going to look really smart or really dumb. We're really something. So it's good. It's a good step. We're at the really, the really point of life. And I don't know. When I did an Instagram live and I asked people, I said, please write me, let me know, as people that like the records and like my band, is this a good thing? Are you happy with bringing the record out in July? Because a lot of people, it's not, marketing wise, is a nightmare. Strategically for a label, strategically for people, it's not a good idea, right? Because you can't support it in this regular way. But everyone's like, no, no, no. And I think something new and something for people to dive into. And so we're going to try and come up with some ideas and, try and bridge the gap between now when the record comes out and when we play,
Is it kind of exciting for you? I mean, exciting is probably not the best word, but
No, it is.
uh,
It's very exciting because, no, the thing about it is that we've all moved into this different stage of our lives where everything's quite insular. We're all quarantining, whether it's with a couple of people. I have a couple of people that I come in and out. I have interactions with at work with me and help me. So every now and again, this and that, a couple of times a week. So I'm not living on my own, but I am living on my own. And so we all have these little sanctuaries, and we fill them with the music we love, or the films we love, or the window opening that we love, whatever it is. And so to add a new toy for people to play with, a new car for people to whiz around the room, I'm happy to be that. And weird because when with September 11th, when that went down, I had a record just came out, and I had a song called Speed Kills on there, and the cover had been a plane. It's called Golden State. The cover was a silhouette, gold cover, and a silhouette of a plane, because my life was all about planes, either coming to see Gwen all the time or being on tour. It was a beautiful cover. The single Speed Kills is a warning. There's signs we have in England that says Speed Kills, which means slow down. but for some reason, so that song, and I just joined Atlantic, and that was not a very good relationship, and so that terrible thing killed the record I had. You know, that I was one of the victims, along with the 3,500 people that lost their lives, and the countless family members and friends that suffered, and whatever, and all the hassles around the world with the travel from them. But for me, it really squashed that record, and I was like, well, I didn't lose a life, so shut up. But it was, it was a frustrating process. And this, conversely, because of Flowers on a Grave, it just seems to capture the moment weirdly, inadvertently, unexpectedly. And then the Kingdom was meant to be this like refuge, this sanctuary for like-minded people, cool people, free thinking, free of expression, free of judgment, free of self-righteousness. And then that in of itself is really where everyone's hoping to go to after they've been in this process of rebuilding ourselves, rethinking ourselves, rebuilding our lives, our work, our love life, work life, friendship life, everything, rebuilding. And so there's a chance, a thin, slim chance that people like the band will take this record and it's be a soundtrack to this process and this time. So in that sense, it's really ambitious. It's probably the most ambitious record I've ever done. And to bring it out now is super ambitious because probably not the wisest move. It's not the safest move, but who needs safe? I mean, safe don't get nowhere.
Right. Yeah, we're certainly not in the safest of times. And that's the themes that you're talking about certainly seem like they would be appropriate for the moment, but that's not necessarily how they were intended, right? Like you didn't write it in March.
Well, the
So
funny thing is that what's weird is that you could say that to cut off the speed of life behind which we cover, we hide. When you have to move so fast, you've got crazy deadlines. Are you spending enough time with your people you care about? Are you a slave to your job? Are you as productive as you could be? Are you as interesting as you could be? And obviously, to take all that this time where people like everything is stopped, we're all in limbo, we're just floating. Even though some people obviously doing work as well, you're working now, but generally there's been a lot of time to decompress. And so I think that's really in line. I was feeling that anyway. We all feel that anyway. There's outside of the horror of actually getting sick and people that have lost people and the doctors, nurses, people on the front line. Those of us that are lucky enough to just like the Muppets who just been told to stay home and social distance, the really simple requests. It's been a chance to rethink, reset who we are, And so the Kingdom is just a location to go to. It's like, well, why not go over here? Come over here. It's cool.
sure. Well, and you're working too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, in supporting this album in new ways.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot has been said about this period and how it will be a catalyst for new art. And somebody is, at home quarantining right now, making the album of the future, or things of that nature.
Yeah.
Are you finding that inspiration, or are you a little too busy working?
I mean, my whole life, my whole MO is all about inspiration. I mean, I find inspiration and beauty in the strangest, smallest, weirdest places. So it's just how I live.
You're always creating. You're always in that
Sort of. I mean, it's
in
just
that
I'm
mode.
lucky enough that's my job. So it's just that's all I
Right.
have to do is be in touch with that and be aware of it. So I find stuff all the time. And you may not, it's not like necessarily knowing that. It's like digesting things and imbibing, drinking things, seeing great films, reading a great book, reading a great article in a magazine, in a newspaper, online. I just glean bits all the time. You're just sort of consistently, it's like fresh vegetables for the mind.
So is that creation the part of the process of making a collection of songs?
Yeah.
Is that what you enjoy most? Is that what you really revel in? Is it playing for people, or is that
I mean,
going to
it's a
lead
really
to
beautiful thing
more?
because you know, to breaking down my work life is just amazing. It's like being inspired by something interesting, a painting or a book, or a phrase or something that, you know, something you come across, and then practicing guitar, which is fun to do, and then singing to it, which I really like singing. So, and then I go perform and people applaud, and then my ego feels all really good. But it's like it's wholesome. It's the good, better. It's good part of my ego because it's like being when you tell a kid like they've done a good job for, you know, not stealing money that was sitting on the side. I don't know, for doing something good that was there, an intrinsic, something of intrinsic value that you're sharing. You know, if I write a song that connects to people, it has intrinsic value to them. Me going to sing it for them is joyful because we're all getting lost in it. It's not because I don't feel the joy because I go, they say this song's great, therefore I'm great. No, it's just sort of they they feel the sadness as the emptiness, with shadows in the rain. When everyone is singing that and losing their minds, I'm singing to them. We all get lost in this collective consciousness. I'm not a hippie. I just mean like it's a beautiful
No,
thing.
I know the. Hey, I'm in the radio business because that energy is real,
Yeah, yeah. So when you
and
get
I've
a,
felt that. I've
you
connected
know,
that. I know what you're talking about.
you know,
So um, that that leads me then to ask you about um, with the kingdom. Are, are you are you at a point now where you've done it? You've you've sort of perfected this
what?
process of
Oh,
creation and going,
oh,
or is there something left on the table? Is there something else that you haven't done yet? I guess is what I want to drive at. Is
oh
there something
God, of course. I mean,
that
I
you
think
haven't done?
I'd be terrified to be sat on top of a mountain, this Mount songwriting, and say, well, I nailed it. That's it. You know, that'd be a horrible perspective. No, no, I feel very much um, a student. You know what I mean? Like a student of my own life, of my own creativity, a student of music, and it's so infinite. You know, I go from playing Mozart to Slipknot. So that's 12 notes. You got 12 notes. Um, and when you consider Mozart and then you consider Slipknot, and you just go, there's so much room to be amazing. There's so much room to grow. You think of the Beatles, you think of the Rolling Stones, you think of Bob Dylan, you think of the Deftones. Like, have I written songs like any of those people or as good as those people? I don't know. I mean, certainly they've written amazing things that I didn't. They put things, ideas together that I didn't. So therefore, there's so much headroom for me to do stuff like that. You know, there's so much headroom. It's endless. And I think that whenever I would reach that point is the day I should stop. Or if I didn't do a show where my life depended on it, then I shouldn't do the show. If I can't like give 1,000%. I mean, if you know, you see people that I see people that play shows, right? I've played with these bands a lot, and it just looks like they don't give a damn. I'm just like, wow. I mean, I sometimes when it's their shtick, you know, like an Oasis, you know, they play but they don't do anything, but it's an intentional performance art thing. You know, maybe it's boring, but it's okay. But people that just don't care, people that don't care, and people that don't have energy and passion for what they do on a stage, I just, I'm just like, how long do you think they're going to be there? Because there's like 50,000 bands that want that slot. You know, if you're not ready to lay down and like fight to the end, what are you? You're not gonna. I don't know. It's just weird. So I just see it for me as, you know, really really inspired by it, and never, even if I'm tired, it's like I'll play the show in a certain way. You know, you can't always be at your best, but your intention can always be at your best. Always, you know, your intention is everything.
pause there. Having a little bit of audio trouble. I got a call in the middle of your.
I get it. No worries. No
Oh, there
worries.
we go. Now we're back. All right. Um, so you seem like the process still humbles you in creation and the things that
Yeah,
you're. Um,
very much. 1,000%. And I think that that's a, it just, that's because I'm aware of the magnitude and the size of music, and I'm just a sort of a small spoke on a wheel of music, a small speck of dust. It's like there's so
yeah.
much to do. Uh,
But it's
but
also
it's
still
just,
pretty. It's also still a lot of fun, I would imagine, right?
oh, it's so much fun. I mean, I still get the thrill of when a song comes together is is infinite. I mean, it still happens to me all the time. Like if I put a song together and the alchemy of a good set of lyrics and the music works and the rhythm works. I mean, I'm slap the engineer on the back. I'm like, well, I got that. Check that out. And I've written 1,000 songs, but it's such a mysterious world. And it fascinates me how you'll be playing, I'll be in the zone, and just things will pop out, and you write a song, and things come out. And I've never had like writer's block, that kind of stuff. I mean, sometimes I just write songs that are better than others. And I think it's important to just accept and appreciate when you don't write good songs. Sometimes you need to get little stepping stones of a not a good song, get rid of it, but wow, that phrase, that verse is really good. So it's just a process of when you do it all the time, you have to consistently work at it. Like I don't wait to be inspired. I mean, I go to work, I go to the studio.
I've thought about that in thinking about an artist's body of work. If there is a song that maybe I don't like, or a collection of songs that not a lot of people can agree on, I think about, well, if it weren't for those, we probably wouldn't have gotten the one that came after it, or
Yeah.
the one
Right.
that everybody really loves 10 years later. It's all a part of the greater
Yeah.
process of
I mean,
creating
my
music.
goal has always been to really try and have it so that I didn't have too many turkeys. I don't believe there's that many songs where we got it way wrong. Um, and I always wanted it so that people could look back and just choose any record of ours, of Bush, of Institute, even on my solo record. I always try to make the best records I could, best songs, best songs I had at the time. And I think that it's not about success, it's about creating a body of work. And when you look back at that body of work, that's what's more important than like the amount of success or number of hits you had, because it's just about a body of work that people can dive into and be like, oh dang,
Yeah.
this is like a deep well of this band's information, this band's opinion.
Yeah, precisely. It's the same as just diving into a good book and
Hmm.
getting lost for
Hmm.
300 or 400 pages. There's
Yeah.
there's something about a
And it's the
handful of
most
songs.
malleable, it's the most malleable art form, in the sense that you can just play
True.
a song. You don't have to sit and read a book. You just play a song and go do something else, but yeah, that song.
Truly.
So I love that. I mean, I just love my job, and I'm full on in that, It's a full on commitment.
So you've been taking a lot of advantage, obviously, of social media and trying to connect with bands and or connect with fans. And I think that that's definitely one of the best parts about this opportunity is that as consumers of music, we get to connect more directly with our favorite artists than we
Yeah.
would have probably
I'm
otherwise.
on there a lot. I mean,
Um,
I wish I could grow it more, get a bigger account, but I guess it's slightly difficult, but I have a feverish, really good what do you call it, involvement. Because it's a lot of movement on my site. It's not up there with anyone. It's not impressive numbers in the millions, but I think you kind of got to be on TV for that, or be do hip hop. It's you gotta just they get those crazy numbers. Like I just look at some of those people. I just can't believe some of those reality stars, like 139 million people follow them. I'm just like, I'm the global equivalent of no one following me. So like, quarter of a million people are spread across the world is no one. Not no one to me. I mean, I love everyone that follows me. I'm really appreciative of that. But I mean that some people on social media, I mean, you have like 30 million followers. It must be incredible. Bring out a record, you'd be like, could everyone just buy it? And then it's going to have a hit record, you know, just do us a favor. Some 10 million people do it. Then you have like the biggest record ever, you know?
And it's crazy is, you know, the people that you're talking about, they're doing trick shots. You know what I mean? They're
Right.
play like it's not even they haven't necessarily dedicated time to a craft. You know what I mean? They
No.
haven't learned how to play an instrument, things
No,
like
I
that.
mean,
And
but
yet,
no, I don't want to move into this. I'm not mad at anyone. It's exciting. It's fun to, I don't look at life like I'm not mad at,
no, 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 no. Of course.
Kylie Jenner for, you know, beautiful girl and 139 million people follow her because she's fantastic and they just want to, you know, I don't know, they just want to have a piece of that lifestyle. And I don't see anything
It's
wrong with that.
entertainment. It's
Was that?
entertainment. It's
Yeah,
entertainment.
yeah,
It's
I
entertainment
totally.
just like
So I don't
anything
have
else.
that, you know, that mindset of like, I'm not mad at anyone and mad at something and bitter. I love the people that love the band, and I get so much support, um, and my social media will grow between now and maybe when we go play live. You know, I'm gonna really like box clever on the social media. You know.
Well, you've been playing live lately, and
Yeah.
that's actually what I wanted to ask about is the things that you're doing on social media, um, because I think it's so great that you are getting this opportunity to connect more directly with your audience.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else planned? Any more performances planned, or anything else unique
Well,
as
I've
we
been
lead
doing
up
it's weird
to
because
July 17th?
yeah, I need to pop on there. Maybe I'm gonna pop on there tonight and just do a song. Um, just sing a song because I haven't done that for a minute. And I was in this middle ground. I know that like Melissa Etheridge, she's done 57 shows. She does one every day. Like I just
Wow.
been trying to not do too much. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, she's amazing for doing that. And my condolences to her. You know, she lost her son, 21-year-old son, to opioid addiction. Awful. Rest in peace. So, but she's an incredible example of that. But I was trying to like, is that what people want? Do they want a show every day? I don't know if they want every show every day from me, maybe from Melissa. So just trying to find the balance really, but I need to get back on that, you know. I played last night at this event, a charity event for Chrysalis. So I do certain things, you know.
Maybe you need to do a couple of trick shots. You play soccer, right? I saw you kicking the ball around
Yeah, I did
in the
that. I did
backyard,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
That might be a quick way to 2 million followers.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, before I let you go, I just want to ask for something fun. Um, I don't know. You're a beer drinker, like you said. You're an English guy.
Sure.
Can you tell us a fun beer drinking story? Maybe something. I don't know. You got a famous friend who did something embarrassing. Somebody we can poke a little fun at, and have some fun with. Or
Um,
even if you are at the center of said embarrassment after a few too many beers.
oh, well, um, I think that
You're gonna hold that one close to the chest, aren't you?
yeah, I'm like I no, I would tell you is I'm not bothered about telling you. But I would I think mainly I'd like to take this opportunity to not tell a story about a beer history with me. I'd like to set the record straight.
Oh,
Serious, and thank you for this opportunity. English people like cold beer. The warm beer is probably like the bitters, the IPAs. People have that, and they're welcome to that. But the rest of us, regular people, I like Sapporo, which is a Japanese beer. I used to like Stella, but they changed the recipe. It feels like I like German pilsners, uh, Kolsch, Grolsch. But please, cold beer, cold
who's
beer.
serving warm beer?
Well,
Where does
I don't
that
know.
happen?
They do serve the IPAs and the bitters room temperature. Horrible,
Oh
horrible.
no.
That is for
Oh
that's
no.
for dudes in groups of dudes like rugby players. Where the dudes are hanging out with the ladies and having some fun, mix and matching with the ladies, that's a cold beer. So
Cold
that's my
beer.
beer story for you.
Chef's kiss. I like it. Thank you very much, Gavin. I appreciate you joining us here in
Yeah,
Minneapolis for a little bit.
thanks, brother.
Best of luck to you on the album. I hope it's as well received as it can be.
I hope it's as good as I say it might be.
Yeah, right. Thanks a lot, Gavin. Have a great day.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. See you.
You bet.
Yeah.